Also point one more fun thing out about this one, Dirk. It takes me back to one of the great games in Wyoming football history. We're coming up on 14 years.
Flyboys?
Not the Flyboys. Nope, that's next week's show. No.
All right, we're in Wyoming, meaning we have to cover Wyoming sports. We'd be remiss not to. Big matchup this weekend between number 24 Fresno State making its way over to Laradice, taking on the Wyoming Cowboys. Mike, how are you feeling about this matchup?
You know, I think Wyoming has a distinct advantage given that they play a power run-based offense in that they are the home team, and as such, they don't have to go to the silent count, don't have to worry about crowd noise, and then your offensive linemen are exploding off the ball, essentially with the distinct advantage of knowing exactly when the ball is going to be snapped. And when you have the Mountain West's best running back, Harrison Whaley, that's good news for Wyoming. I think Whaley's going to have a big day.
Look, looking over the stats from Fresno State, you can see why they're ranked number 24. 36 points per game, and their opponents only scoring 17. Now, this is offset a little bit by a complete shutout of Arizona State, but shutting out a Pac-12 team, that's pretty respectable. Also, they're putting up significant numbers in the passing game. 15 touchdowns, 304 yards per game through the air, while still amounting over 133 yards on average each game rushing. Look, Wyoming's defense has a tall order ahead of them. What do you think, Mike?
Oh, it's a tall order, but is it any taller than going up against Texas in Austin or Texas Tech in Laramie? I think Wyoming's hung in there with some tough teams. Appalachian State, another real monster out of the Sun Belt. So I think this Wyoming team is battle-tested. But I will say to your point, Dirk, Fresno State is a very good, very well-rounded football team. And I really think that this game, and this is not a bold statement, this is kind of the talking point, but it really does have implications for conference primacy. You've got Fresno State and Air Force unbeaten and Wyoming at 4-1. I don't think that it's a whole lot of a reach to say that this game could go to decide who's going into the conference championship later in the season.
I mean, that's a fair statement. Look, the Mountain West is not getting the love on the top 25 rankings that I think it deserves. Yet is fair. Wyoming receiving some votes in the coaches poll, but going over to the stats on Wyoming, they're only averaging about 26 points per game. Wyoming's offense not quite as robust in years past. We're seeing also more rushing yards, 182 a game versus 142 through the air. Peasley not as dominant as he looked early in the season. I mean, the last two performances just haven't had quite the muster that they've had, previously. What do you think Wyoming needs to do to change that up?
No, I don't think that you're wrong for pointing that out at all. I think that Wyoming has real cause for concern at the quarterback position as Andrew Peasley has played so far. I'll also point out that Peasley really saved himself in the closing moments against Texas Tech because I think he had about 55 yards towards the end of the game, threw for a bunch in the final minutes and overtime. But really, truly, Wyoming does need to establish some degree of a balance if they're going to win this game, but also if they're going to keep on contending for the Mountain West title this year. You've got to be able to throw the ball. And, I mean, Wyoming's built to win in worse weather. They're a good team. They run the ball. They have a good offensive line. But at a certain point, you have to have some reliability in the modern football game in passing the ball, or else you're going to get into trouble.
I'll tell you, other interesting statistics that are going to come into huge play this weekend. Fresno State, 60% on fourth down conversions.
Wow.
Only 3 of 5. Not many attempts this season so far, but 49% on third down conversions. That's huge. Wyoming, on the other hand, right around that 30% mark for their third down conversions. It's really going to be a tall order for Wyoming's offense, and really, Wyoming's defense is going to have to really come up big, slow down this offense, and slow down the transfer quarterback for Fresno State.
Hey, what got the game done for Wyoming last time? Special teams. Special teams can be special. That always swings a game as well. I'll also point one more fun thing out about this one, Dirk. It takes me back to one of the great games in Wyoming football history. We're coming up on 14 years.
Flyboys?
Not the Flyboys. Nope, that's next week's show. No, this is the 2009 New Mexico Bowl. Wyoming plays Fresno State. goes to double overtime, and the Magna Carta, Austin Carter Samuels, leads the Cowboys to a win in double overtime. You'll remember, too, the goal line stand by Wyoming. Josh Bazoons, Gabe Nap Time Napton. Some names from back in the day. Anyway, that's a fun one. This is the biggest game they played against Fresno State since then.
Well, huge matchup, has big Mountain West implications. Probably the matchup of the Mountain West for the weekend. We'll see you in Laramie late. See how this matchup goes. We'll talk to you all later.